To see was kuona, kuona.
kuona.
And how would you say I see?
Ninaona.
Good, but it's I see. We're being
Ah.
emphatic.
Mimi naona.
Good. Mimi naona or mimi ni naona. When you put mimi, you leave out the ni, I noticed, which is quite intuitive because you will hear people do this. It's kind of especially unnecessary, if you have the mimi to have ni as well. You will also hear people shorten mimi to mi. So you might just hear mi naona, which might just sound like ni naona. I see it. Do you? And we don't need a word for it if we're not referring to an object. So if we say, do you see it? That thing that's happening over there, we don't need it. So, I see it. And you?
Mimi naona na wewe.
And make it a question?
Na wewe je.
Very good. Mimi naona, mimi ni naona, na wewe je. So the je here is especially important because na also means with. No? So otherwise it might just sound like I see it with you. What do you see with me? So to make that very clear, we can have the je on the end there. Ni naona, mimi ni naona, na wewe je. What if we want to stress you? Do you see it?
Je wewe unaona.
Je wewe unaona. Je unaona wewe. Good. So wewe is quite flexible. Like we said, it's emphatic. The information of you is already included in the verb structure with unaona. So that wewe being extra is very flexible. Wewe unaona wewe. Do you see me?
Unani ona mimi.
Very good. If you're stressing the me, do you see me? You could add the mimi there. Je unani ona mimi. Kufanya means to do or to make. Kufanya. So which bit there has the meaning of doing or making? Fanya. Good. And that's Fanya. Kufanya. I'm doing it. Ninafanya. You are doing it. Unafanya. Are you doing it?
Je unafanya.
Je unafanya. This marker, je, that we use to introduce a question can also be used like how, like the word how. But for this meaning, we stick it on the end of the verb. We hook it onto the end of the verb. So it's not a word in its own right anymore. It becomes part of the verb. Which means if you say something like, how do you do it? It's all one word in Swahili. So do you want to try that? How do you do it? And the je is going to come on the end. You do it how?
Unafanya je.
Good. But if you say unafanya je, it sounds like a separate word. But the word for how becomes part of the verb. Where does the accent go in Swahili words? The stress.
Second last.
The second last syllable, no? So when you put that je on the end of unafanya, well, the accent will move.
Unafanya je.
That's it. Unafanya je. How do you do it? Unafanya je. No? So it all becomes one word. And we hear that because the accent moves.
Unafanya je.
Good. How was to travel? Like safari in English.
Kusafiri.
Kusafiri. Good. Do you travel?
Je unasafiri.
Unasafiri. Je unasafiri. How do you travel?
Unasafiri je.
Very good. Very good for moving the accent, no? Unasafiri je. So this means how do you travel? Not are you traveling, but how. So when we have je on the end of the verb, we get the meaning of how. Unasafiri je. How do you travel? Like by car, plane, with your savings. How? To say, or even to speak, in some dialects, this is used like to speak, is kusema. How do you think we spell that?
Kucema.
C?
S.
S would be much more natural. No? CE is much more English or Latin, no? Like French. Or English. Kusema. Kusema. So that's to say or even to speak. So how would you say, you speak? Unasema. How do you say? Unasema. And this is used like, what? Come again? Like, if you don't understand somebody or something, you can say, how do you say? Unasema. You wouldn't use this to ask how to say something, no? Just like, what? Come again? Unasemaje? I mentioned how Swahili comes from the word coast in Arabic, and Kiswahili is how you say Swahili in Swahili. So Swahili in Swahili is Kiswahili.
Kiswahili.
Ki means something like language of. So Kiswahili is like language of the coasts in a mixture of Bantu or Swahili and Arabic, Kiswahili. So ki is a little bit, we add on the beginning to mean language of. Do you speak Swahili?
Unasema Kiswahili?
Unasema Kiswahili, good. And I should mention again that this verb is used for to speak only in some dialects. In others, it will sound quite peculiar when used like to speak and not to say. So another common verb for to speak in this sense is kuongea. So you might hear unaongea Kiswahili, unaongea Kiswahili. So like always, you can listen out to the dialect of the people you're practicing with. The word for England is Uingereza, Uingereza.
Uingereza.
So let me break that down. You have U at the beginning, which often is for countries. Countries often have an U at the beginning. And then Ingereza, England, Ingereza. So we have U for country and Ki for language. So U means something like land of. Uingereza, land of England. So a bit repetitive actually. Land of England. Uingereza. And you know, we don't always have this U. We've seen Marekani, Kenya. It's not there. What was to get out or to be from?
Kutoka.
Kutoka. I'm from England. And you? Pay attention to the stresses, no? I am from England. And you?
Mimi natoka I forgot England.
So how does it start?
Uingereza.
Always just how does it start? It's the most helpful
Yes.
question you can ever ask yourself. Whether you're building a sentence or looking for a word, how does it start? Very good. Uingereza. So I'm from England.
Mimi natoka Uingereza.
Mimi natoka Uingereza. And you?
Na wewe, je?
Good. Na wewe je? Good. Are you from China? How do you think China might be in Swahili?
Uchina.
Uchina. Good. Uchina. Although you will also hear China used in Swahili. So Uchina or China. Are you from China?
Unatoka China? Uchina?
Unatoka Uchina? Je, unatoka Uchina? What was the word for England again?
Uingereza.
Uingereza. English is Kiingereza. So we get rid of the U for country and we put Ki for language. Language of England, Kiingereza. So we have two I's there, Kiingereza.
Kiingereza. Kiingereza.
Do you speak English?
Unasema Kiingereza.
Unasema Kiingereza. Je, unasema Kiingereza? And as I mentioned, you could hear kuongea for this as well. Unaongea Kiingereza. What was China again?
Uchina.
Uchina. And what is Chinese?
Kichina.
Kichina. Do you speak Chinese?
Unasema Kichina?
Unasema Kichina. Unaongea Kichina.